everyone. Welcome back to Beyond Curious English. I'm Emma.
And I'm Daniel. And today we're about to say something that might make some of you a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, especially if you've spent years, maybe even your whole school life, studying English the traditional way.
Because today's episode title is Your English Teacher Lied to You About This One Thing.
Now, before anyone gets angry at us, we're not saying teachers are bad people. Most of them are doing their best.
Right. This isn't about blaming anyone. It's about a system that's been repeated in classrooms for decades, and it's actually holding millions of learners back.
So here's the question for you, listening right now. Have you ever studied grammar rules for years, memorized vocabulary lists, passed every test?
And then when a real English speaker talks to you, your brain just freezes?
Like completely blank. You know the grammar, you know the words, but somehow your mouth doesn't work.
If that's you, I need you to know something important. It's not because you're bad at languages.
It's because of the lie.
So what is this lie exactly? Let's get into it.
The lie is this. If you learn enough grammar rules, you will eventually be able to speak fluently.
Sounds reasonable, right? That's literally how most classrooms are built. Grammar first, rules first, structure first.
But here's the problem, and this comes from real research in linguistics and psychology. Grammar knowledge and speaking ability are stored in different parts of your brain.
Wait, seriously? Different parts?
Yes, it's called the difference between explicit knowledge and implicit knowledge.
Okay, let's slow down for our B2 learners here. Explicit knowledge is when you consciously know a rule. Like, oh, I need to add ed for past tense.
Exactly. You can explain it. You could even teach it to someone else.
But implicit knowledge is different. That's when a language just comes out naturally, without thinking.
Like how you don't think about grammar rules when you speak your native language, right?
Exactly. When I speak Portuguese, I don't think, okay, now I need the subjunctive mood here. It just happens.
And here's the shocking part. Traditional classrooms mostly train explicit knowledge, while fluency actually requires implicit knowledge.
So basically, we've been training the wrong skill this whole time?
For a lot of learners, yes. And that's the lie we grew up believing.
Okay, so if grammar rules alone don't create fluency, what actually does?
This is where it gets really interesting. There's a linguist named Stephen Krashen. You might have heard his name if you've researched language learning before.
Oh yeah, the comprehensible input guy.
Exactly. And his theory basically says we don't acquire language by studying it consciously. We acquire it by understanding messages, real messages in real context that are just slightly above our current level.
So not sitting with a textbook memorizing present perfect versus past simple for the 100th time?
Right. Instead, it's watching a show and actually understanding the story, reading something interesting and following the meaning, listening to a conversation and catching the point, even if you don't understand every single word.
That's such a relief to hear, honestly, because I know so many learners, maybe some of you listening right now, who feel guilty if they're not studying in the traditional sense.
Yes, like watching a movie in English doesn't feel like real studying, so people feel lazy doing it.
But actually, it might be doing more for your brain than 3 hours of grammar exercises. Now, I want to be clear about something, because we don't want people to misunderstand us.
Go for it.
Grammar isn't useless. It's not the enemy here.
Right. Grammar can help you notice patterns faster. It can speed things up, especially at higher levels.
Exactly. Think of grammar like a map. A map is useful. It helps you understand the shape of a city.
But a map alone doesn't teach you how to actually walk through the streets, talk to people, order food, get lost, and find your way again.
That only happens through experience, through input and practice, real use of the language.
So here's a question for our listeners. How much of your English study time is spent on grammar rules versus actually listening to and reading real English content?
Be honest with yourselves here. A lot of learners, especially at B1 and B2 levels, spend way too much time on rules and not nearly enough time on real exposure.
And that imbalance, that's a big part of why you can pass a grammar test but still freeze during a real conversation.
Okay, Daniel, I think it's time for a real example. Let's talk about Maria.
Oh, I love this story.
So, Maria was one of our listeners. Well, actually, let's say she represents thousands of learners we've heard from.
Okay, tell us about Maria.
So, Maria studied English in school for almost 12 years. Grammar books, vocabulary lists, exams. She did everything right.
And let me guess, she still couldn't hold a real conversation?
Exactly. She moved to Canada for work, and in her first meeting, someone asked her a simple question. How was your weekend? And she just panicked.
Even though she probably knew every grammar rule needed to answer that.
She knew past tense, she knew the vocabulary, but her brain had never actually used English in real time before. It had only analyzed it.
That's such a good way to put it. Analyzing versus using.
So what changed for her? She stopped focusing only on grammar books and started doing 3 things differently.
Let's hear them.
First, she switched most of her study time to listening and reading things she actually enjoyed. Podcasts, YouTube videos, even simple English novels.
Comprehensible input, like we talk about.
Exactly. Second, she started speaking before she felt ready, not waiting for some magical moment when she'd know enough.
That's huge. So many learners wait for permission from themselves to start speaking.
And third, she allowed herself to make mistakes on purpose. She stopped treating every sentence like a grammar exam.
I love that. Because here's the thing. Native speakers make grammar mistakes constantly. Nobody's perfect.
Right. Perfection was never actually the goal. Communication is.
So, okay, let's bring this back to our listeners. If you're at B1 or B2 right now and you recognize yourself in Maria's story,
Here's what we want you to try this week. Just one small shift.
pick one piece of content, a video, a podcast, a short story that's slightly above your level. Not too easy, not impossible.
And instead of stopping every 2 seconds to look up every word, just try to follow the overall meaning.
Let your brain do what it's actually built to do. Find patterns, guess meaning from context, and slowly absorb the language naturally.
And then, this is the scary part. Try speaking about it, even alone, even to yourself in the mirror. Just get your mouth moving in English.
Because that's the missing piece for so many learners. Input and output, understanding and using.
So, to wrap up today's episode, the lie wasn't that grammar is useless. The lie was that grammar alone would make you fluent.
Fluency comes from real exposure, real use, and yes, being okay with mistakes along the way.
If this episode hit home for you today, let us know in the comments. Have you ever felt like Maria, frozen even though you knew the language?
And if you're ready to change how you're learning, hit subscribe, because next episode, we're diving into something even more surprising about how your brain actually stores a new language.
Thanks for listening, and remember, stay curious.
See you next time on Beyond Curious English.